good time on the chair, okay? Love you. Here we go. All right, it is a Thursday, September 4th, 2025. Welcome to the Please Subscribe show. There's Critter. He's from the critter species. It says on the back, mirror critters. Live, laugh, and smell good while you're at it. Why not? This is the portion where you get to watch me pick up food at restaurants and drop it off at your doorstep. Now, it's saying it's 105, so that was different from yesterday. I didn't notice that until now. I did not know it was that high today. So, I'm going to check WeatherBug in just a minute to see what the real weather is. I would guess maybe it's 100, 101. So, this is the time of the day you can get hot. It's like the sun and the earth, they work kind of like an oven and an element. And the sun heats up the earth, and towards the end of the day, sometimes it can get hotter. I learned that in geoscience in college, but I'm not a weatherman. I guess you could say I'm an actor. I act on YouTube. I was trying to get into the book today. I'm a very slow novelist. Like I work on it when I can, that kind of thing. But I try to tell a story. I'm working on one called Rib, parentheses, or Dog Night Out, close parentheses, Dash Shepherds of Alaska. It's about a lot of stuff. It's kind of a surreal cop drama, and then it gets into time travel later on. So chapter, I think 81 and 82, or was it 82, 83? I have to find out. It's gonna be 2 chapters that's gonna land on my Facebook. As soon as I can get through both, make sure everything makes sense, and release it to you, and I think that's good, then I will. All right, next step, food, and then to your doorstep. Here we go. All right, got one at Papa John's, 0.6 miles. We'll be there at 5:18 p.m. All right, here we go. 4.4 miles, 5:39 p.m. for the drop-off for Papa John's. All right, this is Willing Street. This is the road, the avenue that I was raised in during high school when I went to Pascal High School. Just right down this way, 2618. We're going to a different address though for the drop-off. And I'll show you the house I lived in when I went to Pascal between 1990. I graduated Pascal High School in 93. I went to college for a few years. Came back and lived here for a couple more years, probably around 90, let's see, maybe 95. Then I went off to Long Beach, California, and then to New York, and came back here and lived another couple of years in 2004 or so. Then my parents moved, and they moved to Maine. That was this house right here. I lived in that bedroom right there. It's 2618 Willing. They've got a little library, a little community library, tiny library. You can share books. All right, my first baptism was at this Anglican church right up here. I was sprinkled by a Protestant priest and anointed with oil. Then my second one, I was submerged by the Baptist in Irving when I was 40. First one, I think I was about almost 20 at this one. They're Anglican, so they're actually Protestant. They do a service that's similar to the Catholic. That one at the grocery warehouse. 5:45 arrival, 1 minute, 0.1 mile. All right, got 2 for the grocery warehouse on its way. First one, 9 miles, 6:14 arrival. St. Paul Lutheran's Church. It says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy." Didn't have time to see what book that's from. I think it might have said Matthew, I'm not for sure. I'll get it next time. All right, next delivery. Arrival time 6:30, 15 minutes, 7.2 miles. All right, got one at Chick-fil-A, 6:53 arrival, 2 minutes, 300 feet. All right, on our way with the Chick-fil-A delivery. 2 miles, 7:05 p.m. Looks like we spotted a neighborhood friend, squirrel. Hello, squirrel. Ooh. Yeah. There he is. Using the tree to shield behind. How you doing, squirrel? I wrote a short story about you called Mid-Cities Boulevard Squirrels. It's about Timmy, Lucy. Oh, you're not interested. And Johnny? Also, Nutty passed away. He got hit by it. Okay. Okay. Well, he took off. He didn't like that part. I did. I wrote a children's story called Mid-Cities Boulevard Squirrels. And a sequel called East Mid-Cities Boulevard Squirrels. And yes, Timmy, Johnny, and Lucy are in this story, as well as Hobo the truck riding squirrel. And Nutty, who gets flattened in the beginning. All right. I'm in Benbrook right now, if you can't tell. Maybe you can from the map. That probably is enough right there. Looks like we've got early Halloween fans. Trying to figure out if that's Michael Myers without the mask. It's a whole family. One has a knife in the center. Looks like a couple of uncles in the back. 3 cousins. I wanted Sonic on our way. 4.3, 7:23 arrival. to go. All right, the Sonic's on its way. 2.4 miles, 7:45 p.m. for the drop-off. Do have tennis courts. Hokkaido Ramen, 7:55 arrival, 5 minutes, 2 miles. On its way, ramen on the way, 8:18 arrival, 18 minutes, 7.7 miles. All right, got one at Fort Liquor, 0.4 miles, 8:36 p.m. All right, this Fort Liquor is on its way. 8:45 arrival, 5 minutes, 1 mile. player Max Fraser. That's kind of what I heard. I told her about Edmund Tuxedo Scratchy Cassavetes. She didn't say anything about film. So she just went right to baseball. I was like, yeah, I know baseball. I don't. I know one thing about baseball. His name is Nolan Ryan, and I say his name wrong. I have to look it up next time. But you can pretend. Well, Linda knows. She has a cousin that's related to the history of baseball. I have to ask her. Pete something? They're always named Pete. Yeah, it's a famous baseball player that she has a distant cousin relation to. Also, her great uncle worked with Steve Miller, but that's a rock and roll story. Everyone's got their stories. These are on West Magnolia. They are the Mag and May. Mag and May. They're very artsy. Murals everywhere. To the grocery warehouse, 0.9 miles, arrive 9:04. Here we go with the grocery warehouse delivery. 9:27 arrival, 13 minutes, 6.3 miles. Right, we got one at Chipotle. 10 o'clock arrival, 5 minutes, 1.5 miles. Here we go. All right, this Chipotle is on its way. 10:07 arrival, 3 minutes, 0.8 miles. All right. There's Thistle Hill. They say it's haunted. Been in there a few times. They had a haunted house one time in the late 80s. And it was a pretty scary haunted house, too. Rumors it's haunted. It kind of looks haunted. It's right next to the medical district, so it might as well be. I was born on the other side of Thistle Hill at All Saints. Right, Papa John's on our way. 10:26 arrival, 6 minutes, 2.1 miles. There was a train, so we're going over the train. Took Harold to Dakota and to Kansas. Papa John's on its way. 10:35 arrival, 6 minutes, 2.2 miles. I think on Fridays, I think it's like 2 or 3. We're open to go with couples. So Fridays and Saturdays, they're open till 3:30. So open really late on Fridays and Saturdays till about 3:30 in the morning. The answer is a meter stick is bigger than a yardstick. So that, 40 meters. That, 80 meters. 100 feet or 200 feet, depending on who you're talking to. So a meter stick is actually larger than a yardstick. Not by a whole lot, but a little bit. Meter stick, you don't want to get hit with a meter stick. Yardstick's a little shorter. So the meter stick is bigger. Right. Think of this. The M comes before the Y. That's why they use meters. Especially in the Olympics and stuff. They can measure stuff that's further distance quicker than using a bunch of yardsticks. So the meter is larger. Plus an M has 2 of these. And a Y only has 1. Y has branches out like this. This little memory thing. So the meter stick is bigger. Meter stick is bigger than the yardstick. It's like a, if you want to guess, 100 yards. So the meter stick is going to be a little, using a meter, it's going to be less than 100 yards if you're doing meters. It is 91.44 is how many meters in a football field, which is 100 yards. It's going to be 91.44 meters. We're almost at a football field right here. We're about at a football field, so that's 91.44 meters. Right, this wing stop is on its way. 11:07 arrival, 7 minutes, 2.1. All right, big time copyright coming out of that place. Social club. Pepperlay, dear Pepperlay, dear Pepperlay. pretty good one at Taco Bell, headed that way. Valentine, 12:29 arrival, 9 minutes, 3.2 miles. All right, this Taco Bell's on its way. 12:37 arrival, 4 minutes, 1.5 miles.